Welcome to our explainer. Today, we're jumping into an ancient text that, believe it or not, gives us a powerful blueprint for how to get through a crisis.
So let's talk about King David's prayer in Psalm 17. This is for those times when you feel like you're cornered, totally misunderstood, and you're in desperate need of some real protection. It's an ancient plea for sure, but you'll see it has some surprisingly modern relevance for all of us.
First, you gotta understand David's situation. I mean, he's not just having a bad day here. He is literally on the run, being hunted by these powerful and frankly malicious enemies who are just spreading lies about him. So what does he do? He takes his case to the highest court imaginable.
Now listen to the tone here. David isn't coming to God timidly, just begging for mercy. No, he boldly asks God, the only perfect, the only impartial judge, to hear his case. He's so sure of the truth that he's basically saying, Lord, you look into it, you investigate, and let your verdict be the thing that sets me free.
So, you might be wondering, where does this incredible boldness come from? Well, it comes from a clear conscience. Now, let's be clear. David isn't claiming he's a perfect, sinless person. Not at all. But in this specific situation, with these accusations being thrown at him, he knows he's innocent. And that integrity, that gives him the confidence to stand before God and ask for a righteous verdict.
And David makes this super crucial point. His prayer is not coming from feigned lips. In other words, he's not putting on a show. He's not trying to manipulate God. He's being 100% genuine because he knows that a sincere heart is the only foundation for an appeal to a God who tests our deepest thoughts.
And then he tells us how he's kept this integrity. He says it's by holding on tight to the word of thy lips. He's made God's truth his compass, his guide, and that's what has kept him off the destructive paths his enemies are on. It's this foundation of integrity that allows him to shift his prayer now from defending himself to this really intimate plea for protection.
Okay, so this is where the prayer just shifts so beautifully. He moves from that courtroom language to a plea that is deeply personal and so intimate. He's not just asking for justice anymore. He's asking for closeness and for safety.
This right here is one of the most tender and powerful images for protection in the entire Bible. The apple of the eye, it's not a fruit. It actually refers to the pupil of your eye. Now think about that for a second. What do you protect more instinctively than your own eye? It's precious, it's vulnerable, and you guard it automatically without even thinking. That is the kind of precious, instinctive protection David is asking for.
And then he adds this second metaphor, which just perfectly illustrates the kind of safety he's longing for. He wants to be hidden under the shadow of God's wings. You can just picture a little bird finding absolute security and comfort, just tucked safely under its parent's wing. It's this picture of total dependence and incredibly intimate care.
So after asking for protection, David then draws this really sharp contrast. He looks at his enemies, and then he looks at his own ultimate hope, and he sees two completely different destinies unfolding.
He calls his enemies men of the world, and what he means is their entire inheritance, their portion, is totally limited to this life. Their reward is temporary stuff, earthly treasure. But David's portion, his ultimate inheritance, is God himself. Their focus is fleeting, while his hope is eternal.
You see, this psalm isn't just a beautiful poem, it actually gives us a practical four-step pattern for our own prayers when we're in a crisis. First, we appeal boldly based on integrity. Second, we ground that integrity in God's word. Third, we plead for his intimate, personal protection. And fourth, we fix our eyes on our eternal hope. This whole powerful prayer, it just builds and builds to this incredible conclusion. It looks beyond just surviving, beyond even getting victory over his enemies, to the ultimate reward for every single person of faith. And this is it. This is the ultimate hope. David realizes that true, lasting satisfaction, it's not found in winning his case or seeing his enemies defeated. Nope. The ultimate prize is something so much greater, to one day wake up in the very presence of God, to see his face and to be transformed into his likeness. That, he says, is the only thing that will ever truly satisfy the human soul.
So, this final thought from Psalm 17, it really leaves us with a profound question, doesn't it? It challenges us to look at our own lives and ask, where am I really looking for my satisfaction? It's an invitation to find our rest not in our changing circumstances, but in an unchanging God.